Am I the a-hole for dodging the garter at my 21 male sister who's 27 wedding? Nah, you gotta catch it, mate.
In your teeth.
Yeah.
You should be up there, the one ripping it down.
Incest is wincest. Friday was my older sister's wedding. It was a nice wedding, and I enjoyed the ceremony. However, the reception I just found unpleasant. I have really bad social anxiety, and it was like a big party, and I just felt out of place, suffocated, and embarrassed. After my sister did her bouquet toss, they did a game, and we started prepping for the garter toss. I had never been to a wedding before, and really all I know about weddings are from TV and movies, which is why I knew about the bouquet toss, but not this. So they did this weird ceremony thing where my brother-in-law took off my sister's garter. She was blindfolded and had his hands tied behind his back, so he did it with his teeth. Honestly, this was really gross to watch. Like, it was really sexual, and it's my sister.
Yeah, I never understand why people insist on having a garter ceremony at their wedding anymore.
So after that, they called up all the unmarried men for the garter toss. I did not want to do this.
Ew, why would you throw a married woman's personal lingerie item into the crowd of unmarried men? Why?
Like, a bouquet wasn't in a man's, like, pants.
Crotch.
You know, he isn't. Could you imagine? Oh!
Are you ready for the bouquet, babe? Let me just get it out for you.
It's a kind of smexy article of clothing that's been tied to my sister's sweaty thigh for an hour and a half. Great description. However, as the men were going up and I tried to stay behind with my parents, my sister Kanye'd the mic from the DJ and called me out by name and said all unmarried men.
That's weird.
That is very
Why
weird.
do you want your brother there?
So I shambled over and was in the crowd like 15 men deep. I figured there are like 6 guys here that are well above 6 foot tall and I'm barely average height. They'll get it before I do. So my brother-in-law throws it and it's like the garter is attracted to me. It's falling right towards me, and I jump out of the way and it hits the ground. Another guy dives for it, and we move on.
What do they get if they get the garter?
I think it's possibly a thing of either they'll get laid that night or they're the next guy to get married. It's like the guy's version of the bouquet toss.
Man,
But
the bouquet toss sounds so much nicer.
Yeah.
You get flowers with it. This, you get a sweaty piece of elastic and lace.
yeah. Now today, my sister's mad at me. She told me that it was a dick move, and I was being extremely dramatic for diving out of the way of the garter. She accused me of trying to kill the vibe at her wedding by not having fun, and was really upset with me over this. Am I the a-hole? I love that she's accusing him of killing the vibe and not having fun when she was pushing him to do something that he was not having fun doing.
Literally called him out of the entire crowd and made him participate. Yeah. Why do you want your brother to hold your garter?
Yeah, totally not the a-hole. You described it perfectly. Smexy item tied to your sister's sweaty thigh. Don't blame you one bit for dodging it. Yeah, so someone actually asked here, what the frick is it for? So, someone explains it rather well. In this case, it's almost certainly a novelty garter just for the garter toss. The guy who catches the garter is supposed to be the next to marry, like the woman who catches the bouquet.
What, is he supposed to put it on his future wife and an heirloom garter that just travels?
Sisterhood of the traveling garter.
Oh my god. You know, there's probably a porno about that.
Don't make people search it.
Sorry.
Actual functioning garters are to hold stockings up. In centuries past, they would have been a ribbon tied above or below the knee to hold up stockings, and, depending on the era and clothing, men wore them too. More recently, they're basically a loop of elastic. A garter belt, a belt with straps ending with hooks or clips to hold the top of a stocking up, has a similar function. There are also garters that go around the thigh but have clips and hooks like a garter belt. Basically, before we had elastic, stockings needed help to be reliably staying up. Garters aren't common anymore because we A, have elastic, or B, have pantyhose, and C, it's becoming increasingly acceptable for women to go bare-legged with dresses even at formal occasions. However, you can definitely still get them. I have 2 sets to go with long socks, but rarely wear them because they're a bit of a pain. And if you're really into socks and wear long ones that aren't elasticated, wear period costume, think they're smexy, or just like them for whatever reason, etc. I'm not completely sure if that was what you were asking, but I hope it was. That's helpful. Yeah, it was more just like a dictionary's definition of what it was.
Yeah, history lesson of the garter belt.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Apparently, some people say that it's meant to be good luck. So much that sometimes fistfights will break out over getting a piece. Don't know how the garter was chosen, but they throw it out to appease the rowdy crowd. Yeah. Either way, definitely not the a-hole. I just can't fathom why she would want him to grab it. Ugh. Why didn't you grab my underwear? Come on.
Come on, step bro.
Am I the a-hole for going off on my husband and his mum for taking/keeping my used pregnancy tests?
It's like that story with the woman who threw it at her co-workers.
I, 27 female, found out I was pregnant very recently. My husband, 34 male, and his family are beyond happy and excited. From what I heard, my husband was married 2 times before, but couldn't have kids for 10 years. This is obviously a huge deal for his family, because his mum will be a first-time grandma with this baby.
And you will be a first-time mum with this baby.
Yeah.
So that's also a big deal for you.
Is it? No, she's just going to have to be carrying it in her own body for 9 months, where her body will go through the most traumatic experience a human body can experience.
And then grandma will take over and you won't even have to worry about it.
Also, you're going to never do a good job, because you're just the mum, you know? You don't know what you're doing, but the grandma, she does.
And dad babysits on the weekends? What a great guy.
They threw a celebration dinner for us, and as his mum and I were talking about the baby, she told me about how she already started making memories, started having keepsakes of her grandbaby. I felt a bit confused and asked if my husband bought something for the baby and gave it to her. She said no, but he did bring her my used pregnancy test and gave it to her to store as a memory of the news of her grandbaby's existence. I was floored. I looked at my husband like, "Did you really do that?" And he nodded while smiling. Not gonna lie, I felt creeped out, disgusted, and very uncomfortable. It's just your pee.
Yeah, but he fished it out of the bin. It wasn't.
And gave
just,
it to his mum.
Yeah. Here you go, mum. I got it framed just for you.
After the initial shock, I just went off on both of them, calling what they did creepy and disgusting and highly violating. My husband argued that it was not a huge deal. He just grabbed the test once I got rid of it, put it in a plastic bag, and gifted it to his mum as a keepsake. I told him it made me feel violated and creeped out because that test had my literal pee on it. His mum then said something about taking care of the smell, and I lashed out even more and demanded they get rid of it, but they kept arguing, calling me controlling. Brother-in-law asked me to calm down, but I decided to just grab stuff and go home. My husband started arguing about how this is all just an overreaction and said that I ruined his and his family's joy by how I behaved after finding out about the pregnancy test. He said for him and his mum, it's all about the baby, but I somehow made this whole thing about me and hurt their feelings in the process. That was my literal pee on that test, and I just couldn't help but flip out even if it ruined their joy for the news. Did I overreact? Hey, that's not what you meant to ask. You meant to ask if you're the a-hole. God! There's a system about this!
I don't know why you need proof that she was pregnant when you're about to have a literal baby in your life.
Yeah, just...
Like, we just wanted proof that she's pregnant so we can show the baby when they grow up. It's like, yeah, they exist. They know they're alive.
Just
They
look at
have
her stomach over the next
Yeah.
9 months. Take photos of that. I get you can get it so, you're excited and stuff, and yeah. And, like, I know there's some women out there who could look at this and just see it as some sentimental thing because they're equally baby crazy, but...
Ask your partner
Yes,
first.
yes. Come
Don't
on.
fish through the bin for a used pregnancy test and then deal with the smell, then gift it to your mum.
This top comment is great. I think I see why, at 34, you're his third wife, not the a-hole.
It's a very weird dialogue that she's like, and this is going to be her first grandbaby. It's like, yes, but it's your first child with your husband and it's his first child. Like, that comes before, it's his grandma's first grandbaby. No. She'll come later. This is your child. Don't forget that, please.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what? They said it was about their happiness and the baby, but not about you, the one creating life in your womb? You do realize it's a first step to never having a say in your own child's life. It's gonna be your husband and his wife. Mother.
Yes, this does seem like Daddy has a very strong relationship with his mummy.
Yeah.
And you're not the mummy in this scenario.
Not the a-hole, but reevaluate seriously if you want a baby with this man and want to stay with him. Marinara flags all around. Marinara flags?
Yeah, like the red sauce.
Ah, so tomato sauce. Yeah, I'm white. Let's see if anyone defends the husband. You're the a-hole. The test might be meaningless to you, but it sounds meaningful to the father. Seeing the results was probably one of the best days of his life. Lighten up.
Yeah, and he can look at you every day and relive that joy as your belly gets bigger and bigger, and then, a baby pops out. Wow.
Man, honestly, I hate when people refer to it as just popping out a baby. It just sounds like it's like as simple as popping a champagne bottle. It is not, people. We need to realize this.
It's the same sort of thing as the shape of a champagne bottle. Like a big base and then a tiny little hole, and you just gotta...
Yes. You just pull it out, twist it. Someone replies to this saying, "You're way off base here. No way in hell would a woman think this was remotely okay, so I'm guessing you're a man. If a woman says she was or feels violated by something holding onto her bodily fluid, you should probably try to understand why that is violating versus coming in and telling someone to lighten up." And their response to justify themselves? "I also have their pacifiers, first shoes, and snippets of baby hair. I also kept my favorite baby clothes of theirs, plus their blankies. Call me crazy."
We are. I mean, like, yeah, you keep things from your child. Like, I'm pretty sure my mum still has all the teeth that fell out first.
Oh, I saved the tiny piece of umbilical cord?
You know,
the
people
flesh?
save the placenta and they put it in the freezer?
Yes, I know they eat it, yeah.
No. Like, for health reasons. Because it has the right kind of, I don't know if it's antibodies. There's something in the placenta that once it's gone, and if your child has health issues growing up, you can access what it needs from that.
Okay, that's interesting. Let's see, there's some science behind it. There's not really a science behind keeping a pregnancy test.
She gotta clone you.
It's interesting that all these Utahs, though, aren't actually super downvoted. They're somewhat upvoted.
I mean, I feel like once you set a boundary, it should just be respected.
I mean, that said, she didn't really make the boundary in the first place, and the only time she really expressed this boundary was when they revealed this to her. Like,
well, you can't set a pre-boundary.
Yeah,
Who thinks that they're going to need to set a boundary? Don't take stuff with my pee on it.
Am I the a-hole for expecting girlfriend to buy food she doesn't like and calling her my roommate? Background info. I own my own home, and 7 months ago, my girlfriend moved in. We both agreed that it would be unfair for her to contribute to my mortgage, as I am gaining equity and she is not. The agreement that we came up with is that I am responsible for all house expenses, mortgage, HOA dues, taxes, insurance, maintenance, and she is responsible for living expenses, electricity, water, internet, streaming, groceries. We had this all hashed out before she moved in. Now, obviously, I'm paying a lot more. I pay $2,000 a month, not including regular maintenance. She pays about $500 a month. This is fine by me, as it is what we agreed to. On to the actual conflict. Girlfriend has started getting annoyed about groceries. We keep a list on the fridge both can add to, and she goes shopping once every 10 days or so. She says that I put too many luxury items on the list, and it bothers her to buy expensive items she doesn't like. The main offenders are oils, olive, coconut, peanut, avocado, vegan yogurt, I am lactose intolerant, and cashews. I mean, cashews, really? They can be a bit pricey, but there's a lot of more luxury items out there you could be buying.
Yeah, these aren't really luxury items, such as like bare necessities for a lactose and potentially vegan person.
It's a healthy diet.
Yeah.
You bought an entire bag of carrots instead of just the one or two? I admit that all of these things are expensive. However, I do not go through them very quickly. The large oil containers last over a month each. One large container of yogurt lasts over a week. A large container of cashews lasts about 3 weeks. The yogurt needs to be bought frequently, and the large container is just over $5. Furthermore, I do not eat the cheese or milk products she buys, some of which are more expensive, fancy ice cream bars and cheese dips, than what I like. Girlfriend suggested I buy my own luxury goods, since she doesn't benefit from them. She eats the dishes I cook the oils with, so this isn't necessarily true. Furthermore, this isn't our agreement. She pays no rent, and she'd be paying a lot more than $500 a month in any other roommate situation. When I pointed this out, she became frustrated, saying that's irrelevant since we aren't roommates. I argued that, in addition to being boyfriend and girlfriend, we are also roommates, and some of our conflicts are those that most roommates face. She hated this comparison and ended the discussion abruptly to leave for work, even though she had 20 minutes before she needed to leave. Am I the a-hole? Is there a rule I don't know about calling significant others roommates? Is expecting our agreement to stay consistent an a-hole move? The girlfriend mentioned that these days everyone needs to tighten the belt. Should I be sacrificing more for our relationship?
Well, I think you sacrificed enough.
Yeah.
Pay triple what she does in a month. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's your house and you're gaining equity, but you're still spending more. And she doesn't have to pay any rent at all.
Yeah, like she's paying those utilities, but...
Surely spending like, what, $40 extra on groceries every 2 weeks isn't that bad?
Now there's extra info. Got back from work and there were too many comments to read and answer all, so here's the answers to the questions I threw a bunch of people before I got overwhelmed and stopped reading. Mentally exhausted. Hell yeah. Oil. I don't drink oil or have high cholesterol. Olive oil and avocado oil are used for sauces, salad dressing, etc. The coconut oil I use for curries and stir fries. Peanut oil for sauces and stir fries. All are bought infrequently in large containers because it's cheaper. No more than one, sometimes none, needs to be replenished each month, as I said. They last a long time. I'm not fat or unhealthy. Wow! So people were trying to like fat shame him or something. That like he needed to lose weight. As
They're
a way
all
to...
the healthy oils as well.
That's amazing. What a reach. Hey, maybe you're just too fat, man.
I feel like luxury item would be wanting eye fillet steak every week.
Yeah.
Like red meat, pure cuts red meat, no fat. That would be a luxury item, not avocado oil.
Cashews. Expenses. Utilities are not expensive where we live. We are both passionate about energy conservation and use very little electricity and water. The utilities are still in my name. She just logs into my account to pay them. I see exactly how much they are. It's $120 a month for water and electric. Internet is $60. Girlfriend goes shopping every 10 days. She spends about $90 per shop. I've seen
That's
receipts.
real good.
Yeah, that's good. Thrifty. That's $270 altogether. I don't know why so many of you spend $1,000 a month on groceries. I recommend cooking homemade meals like I do. It's very inexpensive. Dried goods like rice, pasta, beans cost pennies per serving. In-season produce that grows in our region is affordable. I don't know how much she pays for streaming, as I didn't have it before she moved in. If it's more than $50 a month, then she should cancel one, because that's ridiculous. Yeah, people don't seem to remember that those things are luxuries. Streaming and stuff is a luxury. Internet itself, okay, I guess internet's more of a huge necessity these days, but a lot of things that people pay for these days are far more of a luxury than we tend to realize. My finances. I'm not house poor and can afford my mortgage. My mortgage is still cheaper than renting. I do not need my girlfriend to subsidize my house. I paid all of my own bills before she moved in and would be able to continue doing so without her. Yeah, it's sounding more and more like she is really kind of, like, not to say dead weight, but like she's being a freeloader about this. At least just in terms of like where she could be cutting costs. One thing if she was going to be like offering to cut down her own luxury items as well, but she clearly wasn't. She was trying to, put it all on him. Top comment saying, Nata, girlfriend is getting a little too comfy with living rent-free. Time to renegotiate your finances. In your situation, I'd adjust it to charge her in a fair market rent and split groceries. Yeah, she's definitely not going to like that. I have to pay rent now for this place I'm living in? Rent-free? No. I don't know. What do you think would be the situation here? Like,
This comment's stupid. It's like, I'm lactose intolerant. You should just take pills instead. No. Let the man live his life and eat his lactose-free yogurt.
just take some drugs, bro. Come on.
Yeah, I think another conversation needs to be had.
Sounds like
You're
it.
Are you good? Because this seems like a pretty good arrangement. And if you're not happy with it, maybe this isn't working.
Yeah.
Oh, I half expected her to be really young as well, but she's actually older.
Oh, yes. I'm 29, she just turned 30. She's not invested in the home. We have completely separate finances. She has mentioned a shared account in the past, but I didn't want to do so.
Wow, he's not even making that much money.
Oh, wow. I'm not sure how much she makes. I work in utility installation and repair. I make a set hourly wage, $600 a week, and also tips. She works on contract doing appraisals. Her income is based on her workload. Wow, you make $3,200 a month and spend $2,000 on your home. That's 62% of your monthly income. That's about twice as what it should be. Not only should your girlfriend be paying rent, why does she live for free just because she's a tenant and splitting groceries? I'd charge her $1,000 and half the groceries for each to get your own. I had to use alternative facts to get approved for the mortgage. That's sneaky. Oh, someone brings up an interesting point. So you lied to get your mortgage, and now you're trying to use your girlfriend to bail you out of your poor financial decisions. The information would be really important to put in your original post because it changes everything. This isn't about the groceries. This is about your inability to budget properly.
I don't think it is, because he doesn't want help with the rent or anything. He just wants her to buy avocado oil
Yeah.
once a month.
I think this person's jumping on this idea that this person's saying where he should be
Yeah.
charging a rent, and he's like, well, hang on, no.
But I mean, he did it appropriately. He never had streaming services before, and he
Yeah.
eats at home, which he's already stated. He's not out there living a frivolous lifestyle where he needs someone else to contribute financially.
Yeah.
Otherwise, she would be paying rent, or she would be contributing to more household expenses. But you've already agreed you don't need that help.
Yeah, I think this person's in the wrong with this kind of assumption. Like, yeah, okay, he clearly can afford it. He's found a way to live comfortably with it.
His cashews.
Yeah, just give the man his cashews. Am I the a-hole for embarrassing my husband at family dinner? We were at my mother-in-law's place for dinner, and while we were talking, mother-in-law took a minute to remind us of her birthday, which will take place next week. My husband looked back at me and said, "Oh, no need to get a cake. OP will take care of it." I was taken aback because, for one, I work long hours and will be too busy next week and don't even know I will be able to attend. And two, I never agreed to make the cake, nor I have the time or money for it since it's probably expected to be fancy. I couldn't just take it when he basically offered my service without consulting me. I looked back at him and said, "I never agreed to do such a thing. Can you tell me why I should do it? You never do anything for my mum." The table went quiet and everybody looked at my husband awkwardly. Given his argumentative nature, it was strange seeing him quiet like that. He was fuming. Once we got into the car, he yelled about how I embarrassed him and humiliated him and how I disrespected his mother at the table. I told him he was the one who offered my service, but he said that I should have agreed or showed I was on board initially, and then told him my honest opinion at home and in private. We got home and he started sulking, saying he can't even look at his family in the face after the childish schmidt I pulled at their house. Am I the a-hole? I love that he implies that he'd give her some leeway if she just talked about it in private. He was not going to. Let's be honest here.
Why can't he make the cake?
Oh no, because he's busy. He works long hours. He might not have time.
Yeah.
You know? Unlike her, who only works long hours and might not have time. Excuses. That's kind of just a short and sweet one. I mean, yeah, kind of people bringing up the, like, she'd be screwed no matter what she did. I completely agree. Considering he's someone who apparently has an argumentative nature. Argumentative?
Oh, yeah.
Nature, yeah. Like, what, you really trust this guy's going to actually consider your opinion or thoughts on something that's going to benefit him and not you at all?
Should have just got the equivalent of a Woolies mud cake. Can't go wrong there.
Yes! For those in America, you're missing out. Woolies mud cakes. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, it is actual mud. We ethically sourced mud, of course. Wow, interestingly, a lot of everyone sucks here, though. He shouldn't have volunteered you, and you could have declined without being so aggressive. Was she, though? She merely was just like, hang on, I didn't agree to this, just to clarify.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like an unspoken rule that you ask your partner if they can do something before you volunteer their time.
Yeah, you, however, could have simply stated that you were going to be too busy next week with work to do so, and then reamed him out in private.
Yeah, look, it's not very nice, but also, like, funny that he never does anything for her mum. It's
Yeah.
like, well, but yeah, I don't know. I know. I was like, you don't do anything, so why would I do anything?
I mean, that said, for all we know, though, this is probably the first time she's ever brought it up, in which case I would probably be like, okay, that's an understandable, like, that's not the appropriate place to bring up that clearly simmering issue. But if this has been a thing where it's like typical behavior of him to be like, oh yeah, she can do it. Yeah, she'll be fine to do it for you. Yeah, it's okay. Then I can understand her bursting out. Oh, that's tricky. Yeah, because actually makes me start to consider maybe everyone sucks here then. Because she did kind of, in that case, stir up an argument in front of his family. Oh, dang. Oh, I don't really want to support the guy though, because he is a bit of a, he did kind of start it, you know? He set the fire.
Yeah, even with everyone sucks here, you're not supporting him at all because it's like you were an a-hole. And like, yeah, you can just reply polite to him and be like, it is, I guess, when you've been put on the spot like that, you're kind of like, no. Sorry.
It's like when someone, you know, steals your ped pregnancy test. You kind of, it's not surprising. You'd be like, what the frick? Yeah. Oh, I guess we're going to go against the common opinion here. Ooh, look at us being different. We're so special and unique. We're not like other girls, guys. Well, beautiful, smegsy, lovely person who is only second to Emily. Sorry. That's the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching as always. Emily, say
goodbye. Only second to me? Or am I second to them?
No, you're number one, babe. You're number one. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Someone else wants to move in with me.
What?
Okay.
No.